4 o'clock. So this is slow hatha yoga. We've got lots of people with us today. It's 4 o'clock on a Sunday, rainy Sunday afternoon. So we're going to start today in mountain pose. So let's start in mountain with our feet hip width apart. Just going to roll our shoulders back and open up our palms, the sides of our body, and we're just going to hold, thinking about planting our feet, our big toe, our baby toe, and our heel firmly into the mat. We're going to think about lifting our chest, tightening our core, thinking about lifting our knees up, lifting our arches so that we're really engaging our legs as we're standing in mountain. We're just going to stand here. We're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose. Continuing to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose. And then as we inhale, we're going to sweep our arms up overhead, crossing our arms above our head and then exhaling down. Inhale up again. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Let's roll our shoulders back again. Let's take our hands together and interlace our fingers behind our back. Press our shoulders back and just hinging forward from our hips, just letting our arms come up behind as we hinge forward. And just let our head be heavy as we hang and relax. Our knees can be soft. I'm just going to continue to hold and breathe here. And then as we come up, we're going to inhale, release our hands, inhale up again. This time our palms are facing each other but not touching, arms straight up overhead, fingertips pressing up to the ceiling, thinking about shooting energy out of our fingertips up to the ceiling. And then sweeping our arms down as we exhale. Inhale up again. Palms facing each other but not touching, fingertips shooting energy up to the ceiling. And inhale and exhale down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale up, hands facing, palms facing each other but not touching, fingertips pressing up to the ceiling. Exhaling down. Let's roll our shoulders back again. Interlace our fingers behind our back one more time. And again, let's hinge forward from our hips, just letting our arms lift up behind us. They can come up as high as we like. We're just going to let our head hang down, keeping our knees soft, feeling a stretch up the back, and then slowly coming back up, releasing our hands. Again, sweeping our arms up overhead. And this time, let's drop our right arm down, press our left arm just slightly across the top of our head, keeping our arm close to our ear, and exhaling down. Let's do that again. Inhale up. Again, dropping our left arm down, pressing our right arm close to our ear, just slightly to the side, feeling stretch up the side of our body. And then dropping our arm down one more time. Let's lift up one more time again. Palms facing each other, but not touching. Dropping our right arm down, pressing our left arm just slightly to the side, feeling a stretch the side of our body. And then dropping our arm down. Lifting up one more time. Dropping our left arm down, right arm pressing to the side. Just feeling that stretch. And then dropping our arms down. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Turn so that we're facing the short edge of our mat. And we're just going to move into flying bird. We're going to start in flying bird by just stepping back with our right foot, keeping our left knee bent. Our right foot is just on a slight angle, on about a 45-degree angle. And then we're going to open up our arms and inhale and exhale as we step forward. Now we're going to step back with our left foot, keeping our right knee bent. Open up our arms Exhale as we step forward. Stepping back with our right foot again. Left leg bent. Open up our arms. Big inhale. Exhale as we step forward. Stepping back with our left. Keeping our right knee bent. Opening up our arms. Inhale and stepping forward. Now let's continue to do that, and let's step back and open our arms at the same time. So open up our arms as we step back with our right. Big inhale. Exhale as we step forward. Step back with our left. Big inhale. Stepping back with our left. Step back with our right foot, opening our arms at the same time. Stepping back with our left. Opening our arms again. Stepping back. Let's just continue to do this, keeping our balance. Let's do 2 more on each side. Always exhaling as we step back and inhaling when our arms are open. Last one on our left side. Stepping forward. Let's keeping our hands at heart center. Let's sit back into chair. Let's open our arms out to the side. Sweep our arms in front of our bent knees and come all the way up with straight legs. Sitting back again into chair, sweeping our arms in front, all the way up to the ceiling. Sit back in chair, sweep our arms in front of our bent knees, come all the way up. Let's do that 2 more times. Sit back in chair, sweep our arms in front of our bent knees, and then all the way up in a 5-pointed star. 1 more time. Arms up. And this time we're going to bend our knees and bring our hands all the way down to the mat, to our hands and knees. So let's sit back into chair, bring our hands all the way down to the mat, bring our knees down. Let's bring our knees out all the way to the wide edges, to the long edges of the mat. Bring our big toes together and press back into child's pose. We can have our cheek resting on the mat or on our hands. I'm just going to hold here in child's pose for 5 breaths. And now let's come back up to hands and knees. Let's bring our knees directly under our hips so that our hips and our knees are in a straight line. Our shoulders and our wrists are in a straight line, and we're going to move into cat and cow. So in cat, we're going to bring our tailbone down, round our back, look to our legs. And then as we lift our tailbone, we're going to inhale, drop our chest and look forward. And again, as we exhale, we're going to drop our tailbone, round our chest, look through our legs. And then as we inhale, we drop our lift our tailbone, drop our chest, and look straight ahead. Let's just continue to alternate between cat and cow. Let's just do this with our own breath at our own pace. So if cat is feeling better for you today, stay in cat for 2 or 3 breaths and then move into cow. If cow feels better, stay there for 2 or 3 breaths as well. We're always leading with our tailbone, inhaling as our chest is open, exhaling as we're looking down through our legs. Let's just do 2 more of whatever it is we're doing. And last one. And now let's bring our knees out wide again to the long edges of the mat. Bring our big toes together, press all the way back down into child's pose. Let's bring our arms out long in front of us. And let's just put our forehead down on the mat and we'll hold here for 5 breaths. Now let's come up as we exhale, back up to hands and knees. And this time we're going to move into spinal balance. So in spinal balance, we're going to start just by lifting legs. We're going to lift our right leg up at hip height with the toe pointed to the floor. And we're just going to hold, we're going to press that foot, the sole of our foot to the wall behind us, pressing hard, feeling like somebody's trying to push that leg down, just really engaging that leg. We're going to hold each of these for 5 breaths. And then let's place that knee on the mat. Let's do the same with our left. So lift our left leg, keeping our hips level, keeping our leg up at hip height, toe pointed to the floor, pressing that foot away. Again, holding this for 5 breaths, really engaging our leg, making it work, and pressing that knee back down. Let's do one more time with just legs. So let's lift our right leg, toe pointed to the floor. Again, keeping it at hip height, feeling our leg working as we're pressing that sole of the foot to the wall behind us. And then knee to the mat. And let's take our left leg, same thing, toe to the floor, sole of the foot to the wall behind us, keeping it hip height, trying to keep our hips nice and level, not rolling. Now let's place that knee on the mat, and this time we can add arms. So lift our right leg, left arm, thumb to the ceiling. Again, same thing, we're pressing those fingers away, engaging our shoulder, keeping our toe to the floor, 5 breaths each side. Let's place that hand and knee back down to the mat. Lift our left leg, right arm, and thumb to the ceiling in order to open up our shoulder, keeping our hips nice and level, keeping our core tight. And then hand and knee to the mat. Let's do one more on each side. So let's lift our right leg, left arm. Again, 5 breaths. Nice and relaxed, core is tight. Now hand and knee to the mat, last one, left leg up, right arm, again, sole of the foot pressing to the wall behind, thumb to the ceiling, keeping core tight. Now hand and knee to the mat. Now let's keep our push back into child's pose, but keep our knees closer together this time. So let's press all the way back. And maybe we'll feel a little bit softer as we press back into child's pose. And while we're here in child's pose, let's press our hips just slightly over to the right, just feeling a little bit of stretch up the side. And then coming back to center. And now let's press our hips over to the left. Again, just feeling a little stretch up our side. And then coming back to center. And now let's walk our fingertips out as far as they'll go and really feel that stretch. Right along our shoulders, into our shoulders as we're just walking our fingertips out as far as they'll go in front of us on the mat. And now let's walk those fingertips back again and just relax. And now walk the fingertips out again as far as they will go, really feeling a stretch. Cross our shoulders, into our shoulders. Now let's walk those back. Let's come back up to hands and knees again. Let's get our knees directly under our hips, arms directly underneath our shoulders, fingers are wide. And let's move into sunbird. So let's take our right leg at hip height with a bent knee, sole of the foot to the ceiling. And then just like we did with cat, we're going to drop our tailbone around our back, tighten our core, and bring our knee to our elbow. And then we're going to bring our foot back up to the ceiling. Going to drop our tailbone, round our back, tighten our core, bring the knee to our elbow, back up again. Do that one more time. Round our back, drop our tailbone, bring the knee to the elbow, and finish with our sole of the foot to the ceiling. Knee back to the mat. Let's do that on the left side. So let's lift bent knee, sole of the foot to the ceiling. Okay, just like with cat, we drop our tailbone, round our back, bring our knee to our elbow, back up to the ceiling. Same thing again. Round our back, bring our knee to our elbow, all the way up. One more time. Finishing with the sole of their foot to the ceiling. Let's bring the knee to the mat again. Push back into child's pose one more time. To walk those fingertips all the way out again, as far as they'll go on the mat, really feeling that stretch. And then walk our fingertips back again, relaxing our arms. And that's walk them out again as far as they'll go. Feel that stretch. Now leaving our arms long, let's come all the way up into kneeling plank. So come up into kneeling plank so that our shoulder blades are over our fingertips. And then press back again into child's pose. And then inhale as we come back up into kneeling plank. And press back again into child's pose. We can continue to do kneeling plank and child's pose, or we can lift up into downward facing dog and full plank. And again, we're just alternating between the two, keeping our core nice and tight between downward facing dog and full plank, or child's pose and kneeling plank. Whichever we're doing, we're going to do 2 more of each. Whichever, whether it's kneeling plank or full plank. We do 1 more of each. And then we're going to come back again and meet together in child's pose. Let's bring our arms a little bit closer to our body and just relax into child's pose. Letting gravity bring our hips down. Just holding here for 5 breaths. Now let's come all the way up so that we're kneeling. We can have our blocks close by if we would like to. We're going to bring our right leg forward into a kneeling plank, a kneeling lunge, holding in a kneeling lunge. And while we're here, we're also going to lift our arms up, straight up ahead, up overhead, and hold. And then we're just going to turn so that we're turned towards our bent knee. So turning towards the right, opening up our arms, pressing our arms together behind us, almost like we're in Warrior Two. We're bringing our arms together, bringing them up overhead again. And now we're turning to the other side. Again, keeping our balance. Again, almost like we're in Warrior Two. Coming back to center with arms high. And now we're going to walk our right foot over to the long edge of the mat, and we're just going to lean into that bent leg. We're going to hold here and just let our hips soften slightly. Just come forward slightly. So if we come back too much, we're not going to feel too much of a stretch. So we want to come forward so our knee and our ankle are in a straight line. Just a bit off center here. Now let's walk that foot back into center. So our ankle and our knee are in a straight line. Let's turn our toes under of our left foot, lift up and press back. So we're in a nice stretch. We can feel a stretch in our calf. Let's just hold here. We can have our blocks if it feels better to be a little higher. And just hold here, feel a stretch in our hip flexor and in our calf. Now let's place that knee back down on the mat. Let's take our right foot back. Let's bring our left knee forward. Again, we're in a kneeling lunge. And again, let's start by bringing our arms up high as we hold in this kneeling lunge. And now let's turn and open up our arms. So we're turning slightly to the left towards our bent knee and opening up our arms at the same time. Almost like we're in warrior two. Coming back to center, bringing our arms up high. And then turning to the other side. Again, opening up our arms. Coming back to center. And now let's walk our left foot over to the log edge of the mat. Lean into that leg. Hold here for 5 breaths. One side might feel a little tighter than the other, or they both might feel fine. Now let's walk that foot back into center. Turn the toes under. Our right foot lift up and press back. So we feel a stretch in our calf and in the outside of our hip flexor at the same time. Now let's drop that knee back down. Let's come all the way up. Let's switch. We're going to do that one more time. So we're going to bring our right leg forward into a kneeling lunge. We can be in a full lunge if we would prefer to be in a full lunge. And again, we're going to bring our arms up high. And we're just going to hold for a couple of breaths with our arms high. And then we're going to open up and turn slightly towards our right side, opening up our arms, almost like warrior two. Coming forward again, lifting our arms high. Now let's turn slightly towards the other side. And just holding our arms steady. And then coming with arms high. Now, if we are in a full lunge, we bring our knee down to the mat, come all the way down, walk that right foot over to the long edge of the mat and just lean in, and maybe the hip will feel just slightly softer this time. Just let this hold here for 5 breaths. Now let's walk that foot back in so that our ankle and our knee are in a straight line. Turn the toes under of the left foot, lift up, press back, and feel that stretch in our calf muscle. Now let's place that knee down. Let's bring our right foot all the way back. Let's bring our left knee forward. So we can stay in a kneeling lunge, or we can come all the way up to a full lunge, whichever we would like. We're going to raise our arms up high and hold. And now we're going to turn slightly towards our left side and open up our arms at the same time. Again, just almost like warrior two. And then coming up, bringing your arms up high again. And now let's turn towards our right side and hold. Back to center with arms high. Now let's bring our arms down. Walk our left foot over to the long edge of the mat. Lean in so that we can feel that stretch. Now let's walk our foot back in so that our ankle and our knee are in a straight line. Turn the toes under of our right foot, lift up and press back. So we feel a nice stretch in our calf. Hold here for 5 breaths. And as we exhale on our 5th breath, we're going to bring our right foot up beside our left foot. Sweep our arms all the way up. Inhale, exhale down. Inhale up again. Exhale down. One more time, inhale up. And exhale down. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Let's see if we can stay with our feet hip width apart, or we can bring our feet slightly closer together with our toes touching and sitting back into chair. Just hold here in chair. Now let's turn slightly to our right, bringing our elbow down, bringing our left elbow down to our right knee and twisting chair. Coming back to center. And then let's turn to the left, taking our left elbow to our, right elbow to our left knee. Again, in twisting chair. Back to center. Sweeping arms all the way up overhead. Let's clasp our hands together. Can bring our feet slightly wider apart again and bringing them into a mountain. So our hands are clasped together. We're going to turn our palms up so that our clasped hands are up to the ceiling. Really press the palms of our hands up to the ceiling. And then release and exhale down. Again, inhale, up, interlace our fingers, turn our palms over so they're up to the ceiling, pressing our hands up to the ceiling, feeling our fingers being stretched, releasing down. Let's do that one more time. Sweeping our arms up, interlace our fingers, turn our palms over so that they're facing up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale down. Let's bring our hands to heart center and let's move into our warrior series. So let's start with warrior one, with short stance warrior one. So let's step back with our right foot. Our ankles are in a straight line. So our right foot is at a 45-degree angle. Our left knee is bent. Our hips are facing the short edge of the mat. We're balancing on the outside edge of our back foot. Our arms are high and we're in warrior one. We'll hold each of these poses for 5 breaths. So we'll take our time, focus on our breathing in each of these poses. Now let's straighten our front leg. Hinge forward from our hips. Let's let our hands drop down to our shins. Press our hip back, press our left hip back so we really feel the outside of our leg really engaging. And we're in pyramid pose. And now let's drop our left arm down even farther. Turn so that our chest is facing the long edge of the mat. Arm is high in triangle. Now let's bring that hand down slowly. Bring our hands to heart center. Come all the way up. Let's press our right foot back even farther. Let's press it back as far as we feel comfortable so that we're still sitting on the outside edge of our back foot, but our front leg continues to be bent. Again, our hips are facing the short edge of the mat. Our arms are high, and we're now in long stance warrior one. Now let's turn so that our chest is facing the long edge of the mat. Our arms are open, and we're in warrior two. Now let's drop our back hand to our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Now let's just again hinge forward from the hips, keep our front knee bent, drop our left arm in front of our left leg, bring our other arm all the way up into side angle pose. Now let's bring that hand down. Let's bring our palms together, turn so that we're facing the other side, pivot our feet. Let's bring our back foot in just slightly. We're going to again start with short stance warrior one. Our heels are still in a line. We're balancing on the outside edge of that back foot. Front knee is bent, arms are high in short stance warrior one. Now let's straighten our front leg, hinge forward from our hips. Just let our hands drop down on our shins in pyramid pose. We're going to press the hip back so we really feel our leg working. Feel the stretch in the back of our leg. And then we're just going to drop that right arm down even further. We're going to turn so that our chest is facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to bring our other arm up straight overhead into triangle pose. Now let's bring that palm down slowly, bring our hands together, come up slowly. Let's press our left leg back farther, again, as far as we feel comfortable so that we can still sit on that outside edge. We can keep our front knee bent. Hips are still facing the short length of the mat, and we're lifting our arms high in long stance warrior one. Now let's just turn so that our chest is facing the long edge of the mat. Open up our arms, looking out over our front hand, keeping our shoulder blades together behind us in warrior two. Drop our back hand to our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Now let's just hinge forward from our hips. Let our right arm drop in front of our bent right leg. Lift our other arm up into side angle pose. Now let's bring that hand down. Let's bring our palms together. Again, pivot. Let's do our full warrior series one more time. We'll just start with long stance. So again, let's keep our heels in a straight line. Back foot is on a 45-degree angle. Front knee is bent. Hips are facing the short edge of the mat. Arms are high. Long stance, warrior one. Opening up, warrior two. Really feeling our front leg working, our back leg working. Pressing our knees so that it's not collapsing in. We're working to keep that knee straight. Keeping our shoulder blades together behind us. Now let's drop our back hand to our back hip. Turn your palm over. Reverse warrior. Bring our hands together. Let's pivot. Do the same thing on the other side again. Long stance, warrior one. So again, front knees bent, back, heels are in a straight line, hips are facing the short edge of the mat, arms are high. Long stance, warrior one. Now let's turn so that our chest is facing the long edge of the mat, arms are open, front knee is bent, pushing back, warrior two. Drop our back hand to our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend, into reverse warrior. Now let's bring our palms together, turn so that our feet are still wide apart. Feet are on a 45-degree angle, same direction as our knees. Palms are together, we're going to sit back into prayer pose. Press our hips back, holding in prayer pose. And straightening our legs, just hinging forward again. We can come to a high block or a low block or to the mat. Just feeling that stretch up the back of our legs. Let's bring our palms together again, coming all the way up. Let's sit back into prayer pose one more time. We shouldn't feel any pain in our knees when we sit in prayer pose. We should be sitting back so that we're working our quads, working the back of our body. And straightening our legs, just pressing our hips back again. We can come to a high block, placing our hands on a high block, placing it on a low block, or coming all the way down to the mat. Again, just feeling the stretch at the back of our body. Let's bring our hands together, come all the way up. Let's bring our feet together. Let's move into our balance poses. So for balance poses today, let's start with pigeon pose. So in pigeon pose, we sit back in chair and then we bring our right foot over our left leg. We hold our hands at heart center to find something to look at so we don't fall over. If we fall over, it's kind of fun. So it's okay. Just don't fall far. Good. Okay, I'm just going to see, everybody has their camera off, so I can't see what anybody's doing. So let's bring that down. Let's try the other side. Let's sit back into chair again. Lift our left leg, come all the way up. Again, sitting into pigeon pose. And bringing our foot down. Again, perfect. Let's do our favorite tree pose. Again, with tree pose, we open up our hip. We bring our ankle and our heel together. Slide our toe up. And we can stay just like this if we like. We can bring it higher as long as it doesn't come to the knee. We can even bring it over the knee if we like. Our hands wherever we would like them. And sliding that foot down, placing it down on the mat. Again, other side, let's bring our heel to our ankle. Slide our toe up. Again, we can stay with our toe on the mat if we like that, or we can come all the way up. Just hold. And then bringing that foot down again. Perfect. Okay. All right, let's try one more. Let's do dancer pose today. So again, in dancer pose, we take our hand, so we're bringing our hand this way. So we're not grabbing our ankle this way, we're grabbing our ankle this way so that we're opening up our shoulder at the same time. So we're lifting our leg, grabbing our ankle. We can stay right here, keeping our core tight. We can lift our arm. We can hinge forward. And again, hold. And bringing our arm down, releasing. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Again, we're opening up our shoulder. So we're bringing our arm around this way, lifting up our ankle. Again, keeping our knees close. We can stay right here, or we can bring our arm up and hinge forward. And don't have a dog sneak up behind you while you're doing this. And then bring our arm in, releasing, come all the way down. It's great. Let's bring our hands to heart center and let's come all the way down to the mat. So let's turn so that we're facing the short edge of the mat. We are going to open up our arms, bend our knees, and swan dive all the way down to the mat, to our back. So let's open up our arms, bend our knees, swan dive all the way down to the mat so that we're on our knees. And then we're going to turn so that we're seated, hold on to the backs of our legs. And we're just going to slowly roll back, all the way back down to the mat so that we're on our back and that we have our knees to our chest. So let's hold on to our shins and just pull our knees into our chest. Just hold here and breathe. And let's just roll around on the mat because this feels really good. Just roll back and forth. Just make circles with our hips. And then let's just drop our feet down with bent knees. And let's lift up into bridge pose. So pressing the soles of our feet into the mat. You can bring your feet closer to your behind if you want, or you can leave them just where they fall. And lift, pressing with the soles of your feet, lift the hips up to the ceiling. We're just going to hold for 5 breaths. We're going to drop our feet, or drop down to the mat, bring our knees to our chest again, press our knees into our chest, pressing on our shins, holding. Now let's drop our feet to the mat again. Again, you can walk your feet in slightly closer if you like, and then just lift up, pressing our hips up to the ceiling. Again, we shouldn't feel any pain in our knee when we do this. It should just feel like we have strong legs as we press our soles of our feet into the mat. We're going to drop back down again, bring our knees to our chest, pressing them in. Just again, let's just roll around on the mat. Let the mat massage our back. That should just feel really good. Now we can do two-legged bridge again, or we can drop our right leg down to the mat and lift with just one leg. So lift up, we'll hold here for just 3 breaths. And then coming down, bringing your knees to our chest again, just pressing them in to our chest. And then dropping our left foot to the mat and lifting up into one-legged bridge. And then coming down again, bring your knees to our chest, rolling around. Now let's bring the soles of the feet together into butterfly. And let's lift up into a butterfly bridge. So let's just lift just an inch off the mat, not very far at all, pressing on the outside edge of our feet as our feet are together in butterfly. Then we're going to come down again. Lift up one more time. Just a little bit off the mat, not very far at all. Come down again. Let's do that one more time. Lift up into a butterfly bridge. And then come on down. And let's bring our knees to our chest one more time. Let's really bring them in, pressing on our shins. Now let's drop our left leg all the way down to the mat, straight. Let's take our right leg and bring it all the way up to the ceiling, sole of the foot to the ceiling. If we have a strap, we can put the strap around the ball of our foot, or we can just hold on to the back of our thigh and just roll our ankles, just roll our feet around. Hear lots of cracking and crackling as we roll our ankle. Roll it back and forth. Bring our toes towards our shin. Flex our toes towards the ceiling. And bring them to our shins. Just roll those ankles again. Both directions. And now let's just hold with the sole of the foot to the ceiling, just in this half inversion. Now let's bend that leg, bring it all the way down to the mat, and let's bring our left leg, same thing. Let's bring that all the way straight up, holding on to the backs of our legs, sole of the foot to the ceiling. And let's just roll those ankles around. Let's see how much cracking we can hear as we're doing that. Just rolling them in both directions. And then bringing our toes towards our shins and straight up to the ceiling. And again, towards our shins, straight up to the ceiling. And then rolling them around again. And now let's just hold with the sole of the foot up to the ceiling. Flat foot towards the ceiling. Holding on to the backs of our legs. Now let's bring our knees to our chest again. Now let's bring our left leg long. Keep our right knee bent, drop our right foot to the floor, the bent knee. And now we're just going to move into a twist. So we're going to lift up slightly so that we can push our hip towards our right bent knee. So lift up off the mat, press our hip slightly. So we're almost on our left hip. And then just let that right knee drape over. Open up arms. So our arms are open up at chest height. And we're just going to hold here. We're going to hold this pose longer. So this is where we have to just focus on our breathing. Listening to our breathing coming in and out, slowing it down. Now let's lift our hips up, bring our arms down, lift our hips up so that our hips are flat on the mat again. Straighten our right leg, bend our left knee, lift up so that we're pressing our hips just slightly under our body. So we're just slightly on our right hip, and let that knee drop over. Open up our arms again. Now let's lift up. Let's bring our hips flat on the mat again. Bring our knees back to our chest. So just roll around. And now let's do upside down pigeon. We did seated pigeon, balancing pigeon. Let's do upside down pigeon. So in upside down pigeon, we keep our right leg bent. We take our left leg and bend it over our right knee, and we just hold onto our sides, and we just let our hip relax in upside down pigeon. Again, we're going to hold this a little bit longer. So we may need to just move our foot around a little bit to find the place where we feel the stretch in our hip. Just hold here. Now let's drop that foot down, take our left leg, uncross it, take our right leg over our bent left knee. And again, let's just pull that in, holding onto the backs of our thighs, feeling stretch in the outside of our hip. And let's release that foot, drop it down. Let's move into butterfly for just a few breaths. And this will be our last pose before we move into final relaxation. So let's just stay in butterfly for a few breaths. Just resetting our back slightly. And then find the position that's most comfortable for you for your final relaxation. And you have lights, turn the lights down slightly. And a nice blanket to keep you warm. And I will come back and get you in 5 minutes. So let's start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly coming back into the room. Rubbing palms together. Warm our palms, warm our hands. And then place our warm hands over our eyes. Feeling that warmth. And slowly opening our fingers and opening our eyes. Coming over to the side of the mat. And when we feel comfortable, coming up to a seated position. And again, if it's comfortable for you to turn your mic on so we can all connect together as we complete our practice. So thank you all for coming together to practice today. Let's take our arms up overhead with a big breath. And exhale down. Let's take our arms up one more time. And exhale down. One more time up. Bring our palms together. Slide our palms down, bring them to heart center. Thank you so much for coming together to practice today. I hope you have a great week. Namaste.
Namaste.
No. Great. Okay. Thank you all.
Thanks, Pat.
I hope that was good.
It was.
A good practice.
It was lively.
I bet it was lively at your house. Yes. That's why I muted you. Okay. All right. Gina, did you run today?
No, I didn't. I did some errands. So
Yeah.
Did you get out?
I did. It was beautiful. Beautiful
nice.
This morning. Gorgeous. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Springtime is coming.
Yeah, 15 centimeters of snow tomorrow night.
Here?
No, up here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're supposed to get snow on, I think, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, but it'll just be a dusting. It won't be much. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Have a good week. We'll see you on Sunday. Okay. Be well. Bye.